Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Hector, also known as CN6. I'm the creator and founder of Heat Ray Vision, the HRV pod, other things that I'm about to announce and talk about here. Um, Also, if I sound different, if I cough, excuse me, guys. I'm sick. It's that time of year. But first things first, Happy New Year. Dang, man, 2024. Happy New Year. Hope you guys enjoyed your New Year, your Christmas, your holidays, whatever you guys celebrate. Hope you guys had a good time. But this video is going to be essentially an update video, the HRV Slate, what you can be expecting from HRV and future projects and stuff, and also some changes that's going to be happen for the Heat Ray Vision podcast. And nothing bad, guys, don't worry, nothing bad. Everybody is still going to be there. I mean, it's just me, Hav, and Jazzy. We're all going to be there, but there will be some changes that I'm going to be describing. So, first off, guys, let's talk about Heat Ray Vision, the main brand, the main channel. Actually, let me take a step back, and just say that we actually have a Discord now. Right? We actually have a Discord, the Heat Ray Vision Discord. The link will be down in the description. And honestly, guys, everything that I talk about in this video all the links will be down in the description. So go check that out. But yeah, we finally have a Discord. I mean, that took me a while to do. I mean, it's been finished for a couple months, but I was waiting for this moment to actually announce it and stuff. It took me a while because, man, I didn't know what to do, man. I had to research. It took me like maybe 3-4 days straight researching on YouTube, Google, and stuff, trying to figure out how to make a really cool Discord for you guys and just make it a place where it's really enjoyable to be and chat and shit like that. But anyways, guys, yes, that's the first announcement. We have a Discord. Check that out. Okay, now let's talk about Heat Ray Vision, right? The main channel and stuff. As you guys know, my goal for 2023 was that I wanted to do non-spoiler reviews on movies, TV shows, and video games on the Heat Ray Vision channel. But unfortunately, guys, due to life, due to us, everyone working and stuff, and time, that didn't happen. And instead, what happened was we included non-spoiler reviews into the Heat Ray Vision podcast. And obviously, the original plan was the main Heat Ray Vision channel would have the non-spoiler reviews for longer form content, right? Like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes reviews or something like that, non-spoiler. And then the podcast, it would be a location where we would go more in depth and give an analysis that involves other people's perspectives, such as, myself, Hav, and Jazzy, aka Mario. And so that was the main goal, right? But unfortunately, I already explained why, that just didn't work out. So going into this new year, we will be keeping that system the same, where we'll do non-spoiler reviews in the beginning of the pod, and then we'll jump into the spoiler section until, right, I don't know, maybe next year, 2025, or maybe the year after that. Hopefully we could bring those longer form content, non-spoiler videos on the main Heat Ray Vision channel, right? But for now, instead of that, we're going to be focusing on short form content instead on the main channel, which would be essentially 1-minute clips, right? Either reels, shorts, or TikTok videos, however you guys want to take it, right? But short form content of just giving, I don't know, just short form content in a sense where, oh, did you know that in Red Dead 2, so-and-so, like, this happens, blah, 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 like Easter eggs, or maybe most likely, most of it would be covering news, essentially, in movies, TV shows, and video games, right? Where we would just provide news of those things and make it into a short form content video. And not only that, we also will be bringing back the HRV news posts. If you guys remember, earlier this year, or maybe like a couple months before the summer of 2023, sorry, I said this year, sorry, of 2023, we were making HRV news posts, and I was in charge of that. But, due to time and due to me having to do everything during that time, because Hav, for personal reasons, he took a break from editing the HRV podcast clips. If you guys don't know, Hav edits the HRV podcast clips, and I do some post editing, which includes the music and the captions and stuff like that. But I'm the one that also edits the podcasts themselves, and I upload them to our YouTube and I upload the clips on every single social platform. So I do all of that, right? And Hav was going through some things at the time where he couldn't do those things, so I had to take over, and that's why those HRV news posts became stagnant and were no longer a thing, right? If you guys remember. But yeah, that I will be bringing those back. So the short form content videos I already explained, and then those HRV news posts. That is what we're going to be focusing on the main Heat Ray Vision socials and the Heat Ray Vision channel, right? Just because it's a lot more easier. Not only that, my goal is to build a solid foundation this year, right? To where maybe in 2025 or the year after, we have a strong enough foundation where people will actually go watch our longer form content videos, right? Those non-spoiler reviews that I was talking about, right? So that's overall the goal for that. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the main channel Heat Ray Vision, right? And so now we're going to get into the Heat Ray Vision podcast. Okay, so guys, the big change. So there's a couple big changes, but I'm gonna take it step by step. So I hope I don't overwhelm you guys. But what we're doing in the HRV pod is that we're gonna be more selective on what we review. So if you guys don't know, there's a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, and a lot of video games that come out in a year, and it's actually, for us, it's really impossible to watch everything and play everything and review everything, just because of what I said. We all have our own lives, we all have jobs, and we're mostly just free maybe one or 2 days out of the week for us to record. So we are going to be more selective, and another reason would be that is because we plan on launching 2 other podcasts. I know, right? 2 other pods, and that is why we just need to be more selective in what we review. That doesn't mean that we're not going to watch certain movies. I mean, there were some movies back in 2023 that we've seen, and even shows that we've seen, and even games that we've played, but we just did not review for the sake of time, right? So we will be watching certain movies and stuff, but we're just going to be more selective on what we review. And honestly, what's going to be cool is that you, the supporters, are going to be involved in that. So if you follow our Instagram at Heat Ray Vision Podcast, right, all the links will be down in the description, you will see that I will be making polls asking what movies are you guys going to watch, or maybe even ask what movies do you guys want us to review, and you guys will be able to answer, and based on the answers, that's basically what we're gonna do, right? And so with that being said, the polls, okay, I got the polls out of the way, and now another thing as well is at the end of the month of the pod, at the end of the month, we want to do a pod dedicated to answering questions, right? So normally how we did it before is some of you guys would ask us questions, and we'd read them and answer them at the very end of the pod, right? So, and it could be like random, right? It could be we're reviewing a Marvel movie, but then the questions are involved. It's about like video games, right? And so to make it more easier, make it more fun, I was thinking at the end of the month, right? I'll make a poll on our Instagram or whatever, and you guys could submit your questions, and we'll dedicate an entire podcast episode answering your questions. It could be, about us, life. It could be about news related things, what we think about certain video games, what we think about this movie, what do we think about, certain leaks, certain rumors, and such like that. So yes, guys. So that's gonna be it, kinda, right? There are some more changes with the HRV pod, but it wouldn't make sense until I mention this first, right? Until I mention these pods. So obviously, guys, if you guys don't know, we have another podcast called the Cape Shit Podcast. That is a podcast where Hav and we are co-hosts in that pod. If you guys go want to check it out, listen to our episode 0 on for the Cape Shit Podcast, and it explains everything of what it's about and everything like that, right? So, but just a quick rundown, right? Our goal is to review anything superhero related things there, right? So that is MCU, the DCEU, and I know, guys, the DCEU is finally dead, but I still want to review those movies, and even though it may take, 5-10 years, I'm not sure, right? My goal is to review any type of superhero content, right? Movies, TV shows, and video games. So that is what we're going to be doing, and I want to focus on. We also have discussion videos as well, like why we need Superman Legacy, how come it's very important. We also did an episode on diving deep into James Gunn's DC universe. We also did an episode of ranking our top 10 best superhero castings and obviously our worst superhero castings. So we also have discussion videos, and we also plan on dedicating maybe 2 pods a month on covering news things, right, related to superhero genre. Like, as we know currently, one example would be the whole Jonathan Majors situation of him being fired by Marvel, right? We'll talk about those type of things as well. And so essentially that's what's going to happen. But I just want to preface that, unfortunately, the discussions and us talking about news topics, right, from the superhero genre, that will be on pause. And we are just going to focus on and go full throttle on doing reviews from the beginning of the MCU by release order, and same with the DCEU. And I understand, guys, the DCEU is over, but I still want to incorporate it, right, until James Gunn's DCU, which technically starts with Superman Legacy in 2025. And this year we have only a few Marvel shows and only one MCU movie, which is the Deadpool 3. So I figured this year is a perfect opportunity for Hav and I to catch up to current date superhero movies that are coming out and such. And so with that being said, guys, right, is that because that is our goal, to catch up with the current MCU movies and DC movies and just superhero movies in general, that means that once we are caught up, we will not be reviewing any more superhero related things on the Heat Ray Vision podcast. And I know you guys are thinking, whoa, what the fuck? Like, why is that? Why is that the case? You guys might be upset, but let me just explain, guys. Because our goal, as like I said, is we want to review the MCU and the DCU from the beginning to current, right? So once we finally catch up to current, that means whenever a new movie comes out, we'd have to review it on the Cape Shit podcast and on the Heat Ray Vision podcast. And obviously, guys, that's basically just reviewing the movie twice for each pod. And honestly, we don't want to do that. That's just a lot more work and stuff. So we decided that once we're caught up, any future superhero movies that come out will be reviewed on the Cape Shit podcast. So you guys would just have to go listen through there, and it'll actually be fun, guys. Like, don't worry, because we also have segments through there, right? We have 3 segments as of right now. We have a Super Facts, which Hav hosts that, where he goes into detail on, fun facts about the movie, or, Easter eggs, things you might have missed, right? We then also have Super Synopsis, right, which that is done by me, where I give a 1-minute crash course or explaining the origin of a certain character or villain, right? And then at the end of the show, we have reading recommendations, where I provide comic books that were used to inspire said movie or show, right? So trust me, guys, don't be upset, because all those segments that I just told you guys, it's really cool, it's really fun, and it'll be awesome. But with that being said, because of those segments, most likely our review will always be spoiler review, right? And it probably won't release until a week later from whenever let's say like the movie drops on a Friday, right? Most likely we won't have the review until the following weekend, just because we need to do research, right? Hav needs to do the research for Super Facts. I gotta do my research on the whole comic books and stuff. And so yeah, unfortunately, it's just gonna be like a week later. So yeah, that is what is gonna happen, guys. And so now, a similar thing is going to happen with the other pod that we also plan on doing, which is a podcast far, far away, which is a Star Wars podcast. And our goal, same thing with the Cape Shit podcast, is to review every single Star Wars media, movie, TV show, and games, because I know games are canon apparently, right? And so we're going to start from release order, right, from the very beginning to current, right? So once we catch up to current, we are not going to be reviewing any Star Wars media on the Heat Ray Vision podcast. Instead, it will be on the Star Wars podcast. And some of you guys might notice, well, hey, a bunch of Star Wars things Star Wars shows came out in 2022 and 2023, and you guys didn't review it on the HRV pod. Well, guys, that is because I've never really got into Star Wars, and I've never seen any of them. I only saw the first movie, I think is A New Hope. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm not sure, by release order, right? I saw that movie back in 2021, I think. I'm trying to remember. And that was the only movie I saw. So that is why we never really reviewed any Star Wars content on the HRV pod already. But anyways, this podcast, it will be me, Hav, and Mario. Mario, this is his shit. And also potentially Danny. Some of you guys might remember him. He's been a guest a few times in our pod. He might be a permanent co-host for that pod. I'm not entirely sure yet. But if he is, I mean, you could expect that. I mean, you also expect him not being there. I'm not sure. I still got to work things out with him. I got to see what's up, right? But anyways, guys, that's what we're going to be doing. And it's going to be fun as well because it's going to be my very first time getting involved into this universe and watching these movies and shows for the first time. And I'm going to, be honest and give my opinion. And hopefully I get into Star Wars because as a kid growing up, obviously I knew the references and stuff like that, right? But I was never really into Star Wars. So hopefully this pod, it gets me into it. But like I said, same thing with the Cape Shit pod. Once we are caught up to current date, all future media that involves Star Wars will be only on this Star Wars pod and not the Heat Ray Vision podcast. So guys, that's going to be pretty much it. I pretty much mentioned everything, all the different changes. I mean, some of you guys might not like it, but you guys just got to understand, right? If we're doing these different pods, right, and we just don't want to review the material twice, if that makes sense, right? And so guys, and because of these different pods and everything that I mentioned, and even the main Heat Ray Vision channel and socials with the short form content, the HRV news posts, it consumes a lot of time, and that all circles back to the Heat Ray Vision podcast, where we're going to be more selective on what we review. Once again, that does not mean that we're not going to see certain movies. It just means that we're not going to review certain movies, right? We'll probably still go check out a movie and watch it, but we just won't review it, right? And obviously, you guys will be also play a factor into that. If you follow our Instagram at Heat Ray Vision Podcast, you'll be able to decide what we review and what we don't review as well when those polls go up. But essentially, guys, that is going to be it. I think I pretty much covered everything. That is all. Oh, actually, you know what? One more thing. I'm not sure when this is going to be into play. This might be next year. This might be the year after that. And keep in mind, guys, I know this is a lot, but just know I'm just providing a slate of what to be expecting in the next couple of years. I'm not sure when it's happening, right? So 2 things I almost forgot. Cameras, right? Cameras. When are you guys gonna do cameras? Come on, man. Like, that's gonna be so cool. It'll blow up your pot. You guys are absolutely right. And the thing is, guys, it's super difficult because the HRV studios, right, is essentially my room, and it's super difficult to set up cameras and where we record. I mean, it'd be super difficult. We'd have to take it apart, put it back up. But guys, I just want to say that it will come. Despite that, right, we will make it happen. Most likely near the end of the year. I know, guys, right? Most likely near the end of the year, or maybe even sooner. Who knows, guys? But it will come. Trust me on that. It will come. So the other thing as well is I also want to do where we talk about weekly gaming news, weekly news about, movies. Oh, hey, this movie, did you know that so-and-so, this new movie's coming out by so-and-so, like, right, just news-related topics on the geek culture, right? I wanted to do something like that. I'm not sure if it's going to be its own thing. There's a chance that we might incorporate that into the Heat Ray Vision podcast, where it's one podcast dedicated to, providing gaming news, movie news, TV show news, whatever, in a week or something. I'm not sure, but obviously we have a lot on our plate right now. Our main focus is building that foundation for the main Heat Ray Vision channel and socials, right? And also catching up with the Cape Shit podcast from current MCU, from the beginning of the MCU to current. Same thing with the DC universe to current. So that's the main focus, and also with Star Wars. So obviously there's a lot on our plate, guys, but I did want to mention that because, I know some of you guys have messaged me as well that you guys would like to get an opinion about what we think about certain things, or like, hey, did you hear about this news, blah, blah, blah. And that is why for now we are going to be doing that monthly podcast dedicated to answering questions, right? But will the whole news shit that I just told you about come to the HRV pod? Possibly, maybe. Or will it be its own separate thing? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just giving you what's going on in my mind and how it's going to play out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's been officially been over a year now since we've been doing this, and we had so much support. It means a lot to us, and our goal is to do this for a living. Whether this is going to take 6-10 years, I don't know, man, but it's nonetheless, it's super fun as well. This is the most movies and shit that I've done, the most content creation I've ever done in my life, and it's definitely fun, especially because it's definitely more fun when I'm doing it with Hav, my cousin, and obviously one of my best friends, Mario. So it's really fun, guys, and it's super cool that we have people supporting us and listening. And even though I understand some of you guys might not agree with our takes, right? But nonetheless, you guys still rock with us, and it just means a lot. But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for listening, and let's see what 2024 has to offer, right? All right, guys, take care.